Hey, it's me again. Today I want to talk about one thing that I call optimizing for utilization. And that's the thing I keep seeing everywhere I go. And it perplexes me because obviously, in my experience, the tendency to focus on utilization, while it may make sense at a first glance, doesn't make much sense in terms of the outcomes. So let me explain. Suppose I need to hire a developer, an engineer, and I start, advertising the job opening, and then I start reviewing the resumes. I select some CVs, and I uh, set up the interviews and interview candidates. And it's a pretty involved process. Sometimes takes months. I just last year I spent a lot of time interviewing and deciding who to hire. So eventually, if I'm lucky, I get to the point where I decide to hire a person who will be an addition to the team. So now, when the person joins the team, the natural tendency is to say, all right, so we have this new member, and we want to put this person to work. And if I'm looking at things narrowly, with blinkered view, I would be focusing on that person's individual productivity. And that may make sense because here I am, spend so much time looking for the right candidate, hiring the person, and now it's my job to monitor and keep track and keep an eye on that person and follow that person. So why are we doing that? Because we are paying either salary or hourly rate to consulting fees, and we want to see some results for our money. So we want to see how are we utilizing this person, and this is what I call optimizing for utilization. So why do I think it doesn't make any sense? Well, the reason is just because we have maximized, or let's say optimized, utilization of something doesn't mean we are getting the value out of it. It has to be a bit more reasonable. It's not just, hey, I have hired this thing or I'm paying for this thing and I want to maximize its utilization. If we want to go to the ridiculous points, let's say we have hired a bunch of actors in a theater, and we want them to perform, to go up on the stage and perform, go through a play, and attract the audience so we can sell tickets and make a profit. And now, because we are paying each of these actors, paying them their fees, if we want to optimize for utilizing them, we would then insist that they constantly keep talking while they're on the stage, which would create a chaos, which will be unwatchable. People will be just getting up and leaving the theater. And so, even though we are paying somebody to be on the stage and perform, we should be okay with these people spending some time being silent, or even leaving the stage for a while, coming back. It's all part of the play. So the idea is not to monitor individual players and keep an eye on them and insist that they should always be on and working. The idea is to look at the team or the troupe, theater troupe, or in case of musicians, there's a band of musicians on the stage. Not everyone has to be playing at all times. It creates cacophony. Similarly, in the field of sports, if we have like a soccer team, let's say 11 players on the field, our team, uh, we don't want every member, all 11 team members, everyone has their own soccer ball, and everyone is dribbling and kicking their own soccer ball. That would be meaningless. It's 11 players, one ball on the terrain, on the field, and they're competing against another team, and they're trying to score a goal. So instead of optimizing for utilization, we should optimize for delivering value. In case of a sports team, the value is, scoring as many goals as possible. In the case of band of musicians, the goal is to maximize the value by creating a listenable, pleasant performance on the stage. In the case of theater troupe, the goal is to have a nice theater play delivered by the troupe of actors in a manner that will be pleasing to the audience, so they will come back and buy more tickets. And similarly, in the case of software development, the aim is not to make sure that every developer is constantly busy, that we're getting our money's worth from making sure that everybody has something to do every hour of the day. No, the goal is to produce software that will deliver value to the users and will make users happy. That means that there will be a lot of times when individual members will have to step back and let other members finish something. So the idea is not to keep them constantly busy. So I would say we must abandon this focus on optimizing for utilization and switch back to the focus to optimize for value delivery. Now, that is not very popular, and the reason being, I think, because it's much easier to focus on utilization and to measure utilization and to optimize for it than it is to define what the value really is, to focus on it. It's much harder to measure the delivery of value. It takes much more acumen and sophistication. And so, we go for the low-hanging fruit, for the path of least resistance. We are managing a team, and the easiest thing is basically to just keep an eye and keep track of every individual member and to measure their productivity and their performance. But that is basically stupid. It does not really help in delivering value. And so one other metaphor would be like a relay race where there's a baton and a team of runners. The goal is to basically get the baton to pass the finish line before the team of opponents. And so as the manager, as the coach, my job is not to keep an eye on the runners. My job is to keep an eye on the baton. And so I need to see the baton moving. I'm okay if some runners got tired and are sitting on the bench, or they decide to take a day off. That's fine. So long as the baton is moving, I'm happy. If the baton is not moving and all the runners are constantly running like crazy, that is meaningless. That does not mean anything to me. So I see a lot of these kind of confusion where managers are keeping an eye on runners and nobody knows where the baton is. And in software development, that is really the wrong way to do things. So I would like to see us, or I'm perplexed, why are we still keeping an eye on runners? Why are we still looking to optimize the utilization of individual members instead of focusing on optimizing the value delivery? So think about it. Let's talk some more. If you have some ideas how to fix that, I would love to hear them. Until next time, thank you and bye.